Okay, good afternoon. It's good to see everybody. I had just one comment about solitude, which is what we done this past week. So, I want to start off by asking a question. So is solitude where we just spend time by ourselves? Is that what you, because that's what I thought before I started reading it. So what did you learn about solitude? Just the word solitude. If you could just use one statement. Time with God. So solitude is not time with Deborah by herself, because I would probably be just as crazy as I am now. But because I choose solitary time with God, that is what makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, it was just a whole different perspective for me. Because I'm one that likes fellowship, likes having people around me, but God needs to be with Deborah by herself, so that He can continue to mold me and mold all of you and shape you like He wants to do it. So spending time with Him, learning about Him, about His ways, about what He wants to do in our lives. It's all about spending solitude and quiet time with Him. And so that leads us right into our last challenge, which is about choose church. So this week we're going to focus on how the Lord got us to church and how He is going to use us to draw others to come to church. That's what this upcoming week is all about. So y'all have a good time and spend lots of time studying and reading about church in this upcoming week. Does anybody else want to add anything to that? Because I focused on solitude. So let's get busy reading about choosing church in this upcoming week, okay? Got a video to watch, and we will be finished.
So welcome back to the Red Letter Being Challenged, where we have been challenging you to put the habits of Jesus into your life, to learn His rhythms of what He calls us to do in this world. And so you made it a long way so far, but we got just one more habit for you today. And so here we are in Florida, and this is what Florida looks like in the summer. It's pool and it's barbecue. And so today I'm grilling up some burgers, and I don't know if you have ever realized that burgers, I've been in many arguments with my friends, can be very controversial. In fact, they did a question the other year, and they said, what's the best fast food burger in our nation? Like, you got a few bucks, we're not talking fast casual, we're not talking fancy, we're talking a few bucks, where are you going? And so lots of different answers across our nation. People out west are choosing the In-N-Out burger. People in Texas are choosing the Whataburger. People up north are choosing the Culver's Butter Burger, which is kind of the one I would pick myself. What's crazy is nowhere on the top 10 list did you find the Big Mac or the Quarter Pounder with cheese or any McDonald's burgers at all. And the reason I think it's crazy is because when you look at revenue, McDonald's is far and away at top. In fact, in 2017, it outpaced Subway, Starbucks, and Burger King combined. So why is that? It's got to be because of their incredible customer service, right? Except actually, according to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, they are the worst fast food chain. Actually, most business people believe that McDonald's is number one because of one word: consistency. You're going to get the same burger if you go to a McDonald's in New Jersey that you would in California, that you would across the world in London. It shows me that since nobody picked it and yet it's number one, it shows me that human beings are wired and crave consistency. And this really is what I believe the church, what it can do for you. I believe it can provide consistency. And this is also something that Jesus shows us in the Gospels. In fact, many different times it talks about how Jesus would go to the temple courts. Luke 21:37 says every day Jesus went to the temple courts. And so every day Jesus gathered around people and presented the good news. So our church may look different than the day that Jesus lived, but in its beauty. And again, we're probably not going to look the same, right? It's not necessarily a McDonald's franchise in the way our churches look, because each of us is wired differently, and so our churches can and should look different. But when church is at its best is when the people are gathering and the proclamation and announcement of the good news of Jesus is present. And I believe we need to hear that. We need to hear that. So here we are at the pool. And again, I'm remembering a year ago, I was going to my neighborhood pool. And we were, again, another Florida hot summer day. And we were excited to jump in the pool. And as we got there, the guy said, "Hey, you can't jump in the pool." I said, "Well, why not?" He said, "We just shocked the pool." Just shocked the pool. Apparently it's something they do every week, and some of you know pools, you know, you put chlorine in a lot of the pools, and the chlorine, though, over the course of the week, it mixes with contaminants and pollutants and bodily fluids like sweat and pee. Because, you know, most of us pee in pools. At least that's what Travel Zoo told us, 64% of Americans. Do you want to find out how honest your small group is as you're about to leave the Red Letter Being Challenged? You might ask that question to each other. See how real you get with one another. But apparently they need to shock this to get all of the bad stuff out so the pool can be what it was meant to be. And I believe this is a beautiful picture of the church. Because as the church, we are called to go out there on a mission, and we're sent into the world. And this world is amazing, but it's still filled with brokenness and messiness and sometimes really bad news. And if I'm not careful, all of that bad stuff, the pollutants and contaminants, can come into my life, and my body's kind of like that pool. I need to be shocked back into some good news and to be reminded of how good God is in the midst of all of this craziness that happens in our world. And that's exactly what happens when you choose church. Again, we may look different than what Jesus' church looked like. We may look different from what your church looks like. But when we get together and assemble around the good, unparalleled, undeserving, and I would say even shocking good news of Jesus, that is news I need to surround myself more and more with. To hear that Jesus came down into my mess and rescued me. To hear the place that he went to, the cross, where he died on a cross for all of my sins. And to hear how he rose from the dead 3 days later, so that as he rose, I now raise with him. What an incredible honor it is to be saved by the blood of Jesus. And his sacrifice for me is what compels me to want to be the greatest follower that I can be. Here's what's amazing about all of this. Many people believe in that good news, but far fewer are actually following Jesus in relationship. And that is the greatest opportunity we have, to get to be in relationship with the God who's done all of this for us. So I hope over the last 40 days, as we've introduced you to these 5, I believe, life-changing transformational habits, that they will do just that. They will change your life. They will transform you, and you'll go help change the world and give people a better picture of who Jesus Christ is. Thanks for being a part of Red Letter Being Challenged. God bless you all.
So this is our last week. So I was prepared for us to meet next Sunday, or do y'all want this to be our last meeting? Do we want to recap next Sunday? Yes, we do? Okay. So we will recap next Sunday. But hasn't this been an exciting, transforming 32 days? I'm not sure, because as y'all can tell, I'm behind. God help me, but I'm going to catch up today. But so we're going to choose church, and we're going to figure out how we can help others choose church. And I thank everybody for coming, and we will see you next week. God bless.